Hello everyone, it's lovely to be back after my surgery. As you can see, things are healing up nicely, so great to be back. And thank you so much for all the cards and text messages you sent me when I was unwell and recovering. But a special mention, hope you don't mind, to two people in the fellowship, and that's Pastor Pete and Tiffany, who sent me this wonderful hamper from Fortnum and Mason. So thank you, Pete, and thank you, Tiffany. The last two full-time jobs I had before I retired involved a lot of travel, and quite often that travel would be done by train. And the trains I often travelled on were these ones here, which are Pendolinos. Now, of course, when you book a ticket on a train, you have some choices. You get to choose, for example, first class or peasantry. And also you get to choose the choice of seat positions. Do you choose a forward-facing seat, like these, going towards the front of the train, or do you choose a rear-facing seat, looking back down to where you've just come from? Now, unfortunately, I always had to choose peasantry class, but I did get the choice of seat. Would I choose a forward or a backward facing seat? Imagine now then, if you were going on a train journey in 2 weeks' time and you were about to book your ticket, would you choose a forward facing seat or would you choose a backward facing seat? You decide. Obviously, both do take you forward, but please let's just hold that sort of thought in mind, forward or rear facing. I want us to look briefly then at a journey that God planned with his people, not by train obviously, but from Egypt into Canaan. Now, before that journey started properly, God had told his number one leader, Moses, that he wanted to send men from the 12 tribes of Israel into that land to spy it out, to look around. So Moses chooses one man from each tribe and he gives them a little briefing session before they set off. And it goes something like this. Have a look around, see what the soil's like, bring some produce of the land, some of the fruit of the land. Have a look at the people, the towns that they live in. Are they fortified or not? A few other things as well. And when you come back, I want you to report to myself and all the people. So off they go, they have a good look round, and eventually they return to camp, bringing with them, as Moses had said, some of the fruit, the literal fruit. So they bring some grapes, some pomegranates, and some figs. And they report back, and Moses is there, Aaron is there, and all the people gather round intrigued as to what they're about to hear. And they start off very positively by saying, yes, the land does flow with milk and honey. And it's all good so far. There's the fruit, the physical evidence, and this milk and honey sounds fantastic. However, the next word of their report would cost that whole nation 40 years of delay and thousands of people their lives. I wonder if you can guess what that word is. It's only 3 letters. The word is but. B-U-T. But the people who live there are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. We even saw the descendants of Anak there. They were a race of physically very large and powerful people. So just to summarise, 10 men combined to bring a negative report. 2 men, Joshua and Caleb, combined to bring a positive report. And they said, the Lord is with us. Don't be afraid of them. I think 10 men on that trip into Canaan were mentally set in backward-facing seats. 2 men had a totally different mindset and were set in forward-facing ones. The evidence for this is that later that night, they were still in the camp complaining. Wouldn't it be better, they said, to go back to Egypt? In other words, let's go back to the direction of travel from which we've come. Let's move, but move back to what we know, to what's familiar, to what's secure. I wonder for you and I, as we journey through this new transition phase from a place that we've been stuck in for a long time, are we looking forward to the purposes and plans God has for us as a fellowship? New territory to claim, new places to occupy, new challenges to face? Or do you just want to go back to where we were, back to the familiar, back to everything we knew? It's a tough question, isn't it? You need to book your own seat on this one. I can't finish this message, especially on this day, without mentioning Jesus, a man who faced a similar choice, though on a hugely bigger scale even than that faced by the Israelites. To paraphrase from the Garden of Gethsemane, "What do I do, Father? Forwards or backwards?" We tend to think he had no choice, but I think he did, because in the garden, when they came to arrest him, he said he could immediately call down 12 legions of angels to help him. Had he called up for that backup support, his would-be captors would have been totally obliterated. But he decided not to call that support in and walked on totally alone to the cross. He chose to move forwards, knowing that that choice would cost him his life. A couple of days ago, I saw a graphic of a banner on Facebook posted by a church in Dudley near Birmingham, and on it was a picture of a cross, and the words on that banner were these: Jesus, the greatest Saviour. He is the greatest, but he's also the only Saviour, and now deservedly sat in the highest place of honour, because on earth, at a critical point, a critical decision he had to make, he chose a forward-facing seat. Thank God that he did.